Today, we are going to be talking about the Indiana Fever's secret weapon. This is a player that the Indiana Fever are going to have. Obviously, she was there the first half of the year, just didn't play much. But I would be shocked if after an entire, effectively another training camp, that this player is not somewhat in the rotation. I highly, highly doubt if, there's almost no way that she's not in the rotation. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are currently at, I don't even know, my internet's not great, subscribers. 25,227. If we can get that to 25,300 by the end of the day, that'd be insane. But the player that I'm going to be talking about here is a player by the name of Grace Berger. So Grace Berger is the third choice point guard. She is the third choice point guard for the Indiana Fever. And if you don't know, she is a really good fit beside Caitlin Clark. And that's where we're talking. That's all we have to talk about is that, look, it's very clear coming into the Olympic break that the team needs to run through Caitlin. It's not even, again, look, I personally believe Caitlin's their best player, but even if you want to argue that Aaliyah Boston is their best player, cool. If you want to argue Kelsey Mitchell's their best player, cool. At the end of the day, some people always give credit to the person who finishes the play rather than the person who creates the play. And that's fine. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone really cares that much as long as the Fever win. And again, for those of you guys that are wondering why there's no even pictures or videos on the side for this video, I'm currently in a little bit of a copyright issue that I'm trying to sort out with one of the I can't even describe. I can't even describe the people, but let's just say I will not be saying that Caitlin Clark is better than JC Sheldon anymore. But yeah, so obviously that's why for a few videos today, you're not going to see, you might see some pictures and stuff just where I need to just make sure I know where the not even where the copyright comes from. I just need to be squeaky clean for the next few days. So basically, yeah, we are looking at a player in Grace Berger who stylistically just works perfect. And she's already training. The day after their final game, she was in Indiana getting shots up. She wasn't there on vacation. In fairness, look, Grace Berger is not in the rotation. It's different when it's Alexi Hull. It's different when it's a Katie Lou. It's different when it's a Caitlin Clark. Some people, the best thing they can do. And again, in the video I took down from Angel Reese because of the just crazies. What you need to do in this break is what you're most comfortable doing. If a break is going to help you, take a break. If becoming an A-list celebrity and building your brand is going to give you the most mental clarity, do that. If you want to get shots up because you haven't played much during the season, you feel like that's going to help you out the most in the second half of the season, do it. And that's the biggest thing is that in a month break, in basically a 2-week break before the team gets back, the most important thing to do is do whatever you're comfortable with. Whatever you think will make you come back in 2 weeks, the better player, do that. It doesn't matter what anyone else does. And the fact that we're seeing so many people doing different things is good. That is just objectively good for the game. But yeah, that's something you like to see. And again, from what I've heard from everyone in Indiana, Grace Berger is just this relentlessly hard worker. And look, Grace Berger was not bad this season. She's had some genuine good games. Look, do I think she is the long-term answer as Caitlin's backup? No. I do think, though, if you want to compare Grace Berger to let's just say a player that, if you're looking in the draft next year, you need defense and you need that backup point guard. Let's just say someone like a Tahina Pau. Is she that much worse? I don't think so. I think if you've got Grace Berger, you've got good size, you've got a good shooter, you've got someone who can create a little bit, create more than Erica Wheeler anyway, is a better passer than Erica Wheeler, is a better defender than Erica Wheeler. Well, not necessarily better on-ball defender, but she just got more length and doesn't do as much stupid things on defense as Erica Wheeler. So you're looking at a situation where there is a player right there who is now working her ass off. So the team now has practice. They've got a couple of weeks. And I don't understand what Grace Berger did, by the way, to get herself out of the rotation. What I think happened was Caitlin Clark played her way up from 30 minutes a game to 40 minutes a game. And it wasn't necessarily that Berger just lost the minutes because Erica Wheeler just needs to play minutes. I think long term, it's one of the worst things is keeping Erica Wheeler on the floor. And I think I get it to start the season. I do get it to start the season. But it's very clear the two leaders of this team. It's very clear the leader of this team As far as their floor general is Caitlin Clark. The actual leader of this team, as far as when they're on the floor, is Aaliyah Boston. And they are the leaders. They're 22 years old. It does not matter. They are the leaders of this team. They are the two that are going to lead you to a championship at some stage, more than likely. So they're the players you need to build around, and everything should be about making it easier for them. And look, Caitlin Clark gets the ball to Aaliyah Boston where she makes it easier. And you just need to build then guards and wings around them. And I think Grace Berger is a much better fit than Erica Wheeler. And it's true, though. And you can see it's true even stylistically. But you're even seeing, like, in the offseason, straight away, day one, she's straight away getting shots up. She's working hard. Whereas I know there are players that didn't even get much burn that are taking time off. At the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world to take time off. Like, I wouldn't look down on anyone who does, because the most important thing is to be in the best shape you can be in a week, in 2 weeks from now. So, yeah, it is good to see, though, with Grace Berger, that regardless of the fact that she's not playing many minutes this year, it really doesn't seem to phase her. It's not like she's going to stop working. Some people, when they're not getting minutes, you just never know how they are mentally. And she's somebody that's just going to continue to try push and get better. But she was pretty okay last year. She was all right as Erica Wheeler's backup as a rookie. The problem is that what should have really happened was Erica Wheeler should not be in the rotation right now. Like, she just shouldn't. Like, Grace Berger's, the 4 to 5 minutes again, the 4 to 12 minutes, depending on the game, that Erica Wheeler plays should be Grace Berger's minutes. And the only time Erica Wheeler should be on the floor is if Caitlin Clark isn't. And even still, that should still be Grace Berger. I think Christy Sides has really stunted the development of what could be a long-term answer to the backup point guard in order to just, appease somebody she brought from Atlanta. I really don't like, I just don't like what they've done with Grace Berger. And you can see, though, is that she is pushing. She is pushing to be into that lineup. And you might be saying, oh, Christy Sides sees things at practice that we don't. It's like, one, this team doesn't practice. And we've seen this team practice. They run through sets and just run in circles. This team barely practices. And when they do practice, they're that exhausted, they barely run in practice. So she's seeing something in the games that she doesn't like. But at the same time, everyone was saying Celeste Taylor needs to play. Celeste Taylor needs to play. And Celeste Taylor proved against them that, should she be a starter? No. Could she have been a very, very good bench player for this team? Yeah. She's been very good for Phoenix. Not a spectacular player by any means, but an athlete who will play defense and will do smart things on the floor. And that is what you need around Caitlin Clark. However, again, she doesn't run around in circles enough with the ball, I guess, for Christy Sides. But it is a pity. I hope Grace Berger, even if they do end up getting rid of her at the end of this season, I hope that she's not on the fever next year if she doesn't play post-Olympic break. But I can't see a situation where Christy Sides, look, she caved and started playing Lexi Hull. And Lexi Hull has been one of their better players. After Lexi Hull being gone out of rotation. She caved and basically cut Christy Wallace, which I actually don't agree with. I think Christy Wallace deserves some minutes. But again, the team's looked better since. They've got Katie Lou's probably playing too many minutes. But look, I understand why she's doing it. But now it's just, you got to get Grace Berger in. You've just got to get Grace Berger. Because if you have a starting lineup of Nalissa Smith, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull probably is her best starter. That's still such a weak starting spot. Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. That is a top 5 or 6 starting 5. And a bench unit of Temi Fagbenle, probably the best bench big in the entire WNBA. You got her. You've got Grace Berger. And you've got like Katie Lou or Lexi Hull as your main 8-man rotation. And then, look, depending on the game, you can play Demiris Dantas a few minutes. I wouldn't if Temi's there, but you can play her a couple of minutes. You can play, what's her name? You could play Christy Wallace a few minutes. She's not a bad player at all. So it's a really decent team. I just really feel like their secret weapon is Grace Berger and someone who can make a positive impact. It's just unfortunate she's behind Erica Wheeler in the pecking order.